There can be no excuses, man. Your name and your stats is what people search. Own it. Oh yeah, dude, you know what? I hit 209 last year, but it wasn't my fault, dude. It was my coach's fault. It was my teammates' fault. We had a lot of older guys. The roster was this. You know what? I had stuff going on, but dude, what? People are going to look up your name, and on your page, they're going to see your stats, not your coaches, not somebody else's. Dude, own your shit. Let's talk about what it actually takes to separate. Everyone thinks the most talented kid at 14 is destined for the big leagues. That is the dumbest thing I've ever heard. The best players don't always make it. Talent might get you noticed, but habits get you paid. If you want to know why prodigies fizzle and underdogs rise, let's talk about it. For those of you who are new to the show, my name is Ian Miller. I was a 9-hole hitter from Little League all the way to the big leagues, and the 9-hole is where the next generation of underdog champions are absolutely built, man. I've shared a locker room with freaks of nature who absolutely vanished. Guys that signed for millions of dollars, had an insane amount of buzz about them, guys that could do crazy things, and grinders just outlasted them. Why is that? Let's talk about it right now. Let's start with the lie that every young player believes, and that is that talent is quite literally enough to get them to where they want to go. There is a myth around talent, and people assume that like early dominance on the field, right, in any endeavor, in any sport, but especially in baseball, they think that that equals lifelong success. They think that the dude that can throw a little bit harder when he's 13, 14 years old, the kid that is good in middle school, is going to be good forever, man. And guess what? It's usually the exact opposite. It's crazy how that works, but the early bloomers, the dudes that can grow armpit hair and get some peach fuzz on the face and are taller than everybody else, they start maturing early. Dude, these early bloomers may get a head start in the race, but they don't get a finish line. They don't get a closer finish line than us. We still have to run that race. They may just get a head start because of that early bloomer, right? The race is long. It is not a sprint, and there's a myth around talent. The myth around that is if you have that talent early, you're going to make it. It's not how it works, dude. Talent is going to be the invitation to party. You might get some invitations to certain teams, certain leagues, man. You may get opportunities because of that talent, but that's just the invite, dude. Your work ethic is the RSVP, bro. You check yes or no. Hey, I'm ready for this bad boy. I'm ready for this opportunity with that work ethic, man. Everybody has talent where we're going, fellas. You want to get to the next level? Everybody's talented, man. Work ethic is going to be our RSVP. It's going to be how we separate ourselves, dude, especially around the myth of talent. What's going on, guys? I wanted to interrupt real quick to bring attention to a financial literacy piece that is a must-have for you in your baseball career or your son's baseball career or your player's baseball career. This is called the Money Playbook. So this teaches financial concepts and gives financial literacy and financial topics to baseball players and athletes, whether you are a professional, whether you are a college athlete, a student athlete. Man, nowadays we understand that NIL money is prevalent. NIL deals allow baseball players, allow college athletes to use their name, image, and likeness in order to get paid. We know that college scholarships are increasing and, roster limits are being tinkered with, and there is money in today's game, in today's landscape of college athletics. So check this book out, The Money Playbook. Financial literacy is prevalent and can only help your overall development in the game. Go check it out. We talk about the head start kids, the guys that get that like propelled momentum early because they're a little bit bigger, they're a little bit more mature, maybe they're a little quicker to develop than everybody else, dude. Those head start kids often relax, man. They rest on their laurels is the way to say it, dude. They take their foot off the gas once things start going their way, man. Dude, what is the first thing that happens when you get on a hitting streak? You start getting hot. The first thing that goes is the thing that got you there, man. The vanilla boring drill, the one-hand drill, dude, the boring tee routine, right? Dude, it's like, we'll forget about that, but we'll wear the same underwear for 2 weeks. We'll wear the same socks, the same clothes because that's a superstition, right? That's the reason why we're banging right now. That's why we're hitting 300, right? The head start kids often relax. They take their foot off the gas because stuff is easy, man. They know that they can just thrive and survive doing the easy stuff, especially when things are going their way, man. That's easy for them to do it. In high school, I had a teammate, dude. He was an absolute freak athlete. I'm telling you, he was good at everything. Early high school, he's throwing 80 to 90 miles an hour. The closer that we get, like to graduating high school, dude, this guy's throwing upper eights, low nines, and he's nasty. He's a multi-sport athlete, dude. He's good in basketball. He's good in baseball, dude. He's good in football, right? He overthrew. He overdid it. He knew he was better than everybody else. He was also way more advanced physically. I think he was like a grade above us, and he got held back for whatever reason. But he was way more advanced, right? He overdid it. He's throwing every weekend, dude. He's throwing as hard as he can, bro. He's just blowing out, quite literally blowing out. And he had elbow issues, brother. He never came back. He physically couldn't handle the grind. And here we are putting these guys on a pedestal, bro. This guy is 14 years old with some chin hair, and he's pushing 5'10", and he can throw 85 miles an hour, bro. He's going to be the real deal. No, my guy couldn't physically handle the grind. Let's talk about another one, dude. I had another teammate, and so like the farther that I went in my high school career, the more legit that I got, right? I started playing on better teams the older that I got. And I started playing against dudes that were committed, playing with guys that were committed, and guys that were getting like draft interest from teams and stuff, dude. High school teammate number 2, I'm not going to tell you his name, but he had a full ride to the University of Pitt, dude, right? University of Pittsburgh, a legitimate D1 program, man. He had D1 talent, bro. He had the full ride, dude. But his grades were dumpy. He got in trouble. He struggled to stay out of the limelight off the field. I'm talking about like doing the right thing, man. Being an idiot. He made poor choices, and he ended up derailing his career, dude. He made it to the University of Pitt, and he never made it out. One of the nastiest baseball players I've ever played with up until this point, dude. What? Mentally and emotionally, this guy couldn't handle the grind. So we got guys that are young prodigies that are ahead of everybody else. They have momentum in this early race. We think they're going to make it. They're destined for greatness, and they can't be consistent. They can't deal with the physical grind. They can't deal with the emotional and mental grind, dude. It's way more than just being good early. The takeaway is this, man. I learned this rather quickly, right? Talent gets you in the conversation. It gets you in the room. It gets you the invite, dude. But consistency keeps you there. It's not just about getting into the conversation, man. It's not just about getting the invite, dude. It's about owning the room. It's not about talent young. It's not about being propelled and being farther than everybody at 13, dude. What? It's about the long game. It's about what we can do later as well. Like, it's not just about today. Everybody loves the kid with armpit hair at 13 that can throw hard and that can do things better than everybody else and is a little bit ahead of everybody else. But the game crowns the dude who still shows up when he's 23 years old. Bah! Right? Everybody was ahead of me when I was 13 years old. I was the guy that just outlasted everybody at 23. Isn't our goal the best? Like, don't we want to be the best baseball player at 18 years old, 21, 23 years old, as opposed to being the best 13U player? Everybody loves that kid, though, right? Now let's talk about what it actually takes to separate. We're talking about the ones who make it from the ones that just plateau and just remain average, right? They may have that head start. They may be propelled a little bit. They look like they're destined for greatness, and then, dude, they're nothing. They're nothing. What separates the ones who make it, dude? Number one, dude, consistency beats your ceiling. We got guys that are A pluses or they're 90s in MLB Road to the Show, whatever it is. They're top tier prospects. They're SEC guys. They're from down south. They're in Florida. They're California. Dude, they're in perfect game elite, this and that. They're dudes. Guess what? I'm a B minus, and I beat those guys. I beat those dweebs, and so can you. A B minus every single day for 5 years beats an A minus, beats an A plus. That only gets after it some days, dude. Right? SEC studs with A plus tools, man. Look up and down rosters in the SEC. You're going up against those guys. These guys have A plus tools. Let's say they only show up 200 to 300 days per year. How are you going to beat those guys? Those guys lose to the B minuses who show up 365 days a year. If we want to propel ourselves forward, if we want to outlast those guys, if we want to be the ones that make it, even though we're the B minus, we have to show up 365 days a year whilst they're only getting after it 200 to 300. Consistency beats ceiling, dude. It doesn't matter who you are right now and what your ceiling is. If you're consistent, you can beat those guys. Consistency beats ceiling. Number 2, man, accountability. If you want to separate and you want to beat those guys, you have to have accountability. There can be no excuses, man. Your name and your stats is what people search. Own it. Oh yeah, dude, you know what? I hit 209 last year, but it wasn't my fault, dude. It was my coach's fault. It was my teammates' fault. We had a lot of older guys. The roster was this. You know what? I had stuff going on, but dude, what? People are going to look up your name, and on your page, they're going to see your stats, not your coaches, not somebody else's. Dude, own your shit. Come on. No excuses. No one is coming to make me make it. The sooner that you can realize that, sooner you're going to be better off. No one is going to hold your hand through this process and be able, like, dude, when things are down for you, you need to own it. You need to be able to understand the why, dive into it, and propel yourself further because of it. No one is going to come help you make it. You need to own it. There needs to be accountability, dude. It's your career. Own it. Number 3, bro, if you want to separate yourself, if you guys want to make it, and you don't want to be those dudes that just fizzle out even though they are propelled further and they have that quicker start time in the race, man, you need to be adaptable. There needs to be adaptability, okay? Number 1, there needs to be consistency. Number 2, there needs to be accountability. Number 3, there needs to be adaptability, dude. You got a new role on a legit team. You got a new lineup spot. You're hitting in the order. Dude, you're hitting 6 now instead of 8. You got a new position. You're playing left field instead of right field, dude, and you're upset? Brother, what? Adjust. You have to adjust. You think you're going to be comfortable and play your spot in your role on your team forever? And you want to be good? And you want to maximize? Come on, my guy. The higher that you go, dude, the more that the game exposes weakness, right? So like runners in scoring position, left on left. If you're a lefty like me and people think that you struggle facing, like, how are you going to be able to bring value amidst all of that stuff, dude? You got a new role. You're a little bit out of place, dude. We're playing right field and stuff. Own it. Adjust. Adjust. Baseball's a game of adjustments. It's also a game of failure, dude, right? I needed to adapt to lefties. I needed to adapt to the situational hitting. I wasn't the best bunter, right? I could run, but I needed to learn that stuff. And I learned that stuff by leaning into the uncomfortable reps, not from hiding from them. Does that make sense to you? In order for us to separate from those guys and in order for us to make it where we're going, we need to have consistency. We need to have accountability and we need to have adaptability. Okay? Baseball doesn't reward the gifted, man. It rewards the obsessed. And you need to be obsessed if we want to beat those guys. Let's talk about the silent killers of great players. Fellas, we know great players. We've played against them. We've played with them. And they amounted to nothing. It's ego. It's entitlement. It's comfort, dude. These are all the things that are killing great players. And oftentimes, fellas, we don't even know it when we're going about our business. Let's dive into it, man. Ego. Ego is the number 1 silent killer of all great players, dude. Whether you know it, whether they know it or not. Ego is thinking that you've arrived, thinking that you're there, thinking you've made it, you figured it out, you're the man, you're the guy, I deserve it all, right? Players that like hit puberty early, dudes that hit mature early and they're nasty young and they could do stuff like different than everybody else. Early puberties and velocity heroes, dude, they dominate youth ball. They dominate it, right? And then they stall when everybody else catches up. That's how it goes. Don't be that way. Once you stop chasing something and you're hungry and you're moving for it with reckless abandon, like, dude, others pass you and they pass you fast. That's how I was able to maximize and make it to the big leagues. Ego is the number 1 silent killer of great players, dude. Number 2, entitlement. Entitlement is a huge killer of great players, man. Assuming that your spot is secure, dude. Assuming that you're safe. Assuming that nobody can touch you, man. You're either hunting for something or you're protecting and just trying to survive. Try to play safe, right? If you're doing neither, you're falling behind. You're not even in the conversation. You need to be doing something, and you don't want to be protecting, playing safe, just trying to put the ball in play, just trying to throw it over the plate. Hey, come on, dude. You need to be hunting. Entitlement is another killer of great baseball players, of great athletes. Entitlement. Comfort is the number 3 killer of great baseball players, man. I'm talking about like avoiding challenges. I'm talking about staying within the comfort zone, dude. I'm talking about not testing the boundaries, bro, not doing hard stuff. Comfort is the graveyard of potential. If you look around and you see these top prospects or dudes with full scholarships or dudes that got drafted in the first round, top prospects, all Americans, right on the draft list, bro, oftentimes they fizzle out and they amount to nothing because they got comfortable, dude. Comfort is the graveyard of potential. The second that you stop stretching, you stop going for it, you start shrinking, you start retracting, dude. There is no standing still. You're either going for it or you're shrinking. In my draft class, dude, 17th rounder in my draft class, Jeff Zimmerman. Jeff Zimmerman, who's a first baseman dude from the Midwest, and he was nasty. He was nasty. He did well, right? He was loved. Dude, he was absolutely loved by the staff early. He was getting opportunities. He was a left-handed hitting first baseman. He was pretty good, dude, right? I'm the best player on every single baseball field that I ever step on, but he was pretty good. Okay? That's the way we got to look at it. This dude could mash. He got opportunity after opportunity. Like, dude, he was the guy. He got these huge opportunities at big league camp the first year that we got back. So, like, he did well in rookie ball. He got drafted, did well, and then the next year in spring training, bro, he's in major league spring training games. What? Then he caught a bad attitude, dude. Then he couldn't necessarily handle failure. Then he was like, woe is me all the time, freaking down in the dumps. Like some dude at the end of the bench after a strikeout, sulking, dude, terrible body language, just out at first base, throwing ground balls to people like, just struck out. Like, dude, love you, Jeff. That was you, big dog, right? Then he cut that bad attitude. Then he stalled a little bit. There wasn't as much improvement as there was in the beginning. He didn't show as much progress, dude. There was no like adaptations. He wasn't adjusting at all. And then he was out in like 2 years. And then like, smell you. Dude, you're the guy. You're here. Happy to have you. Ooh, no. Later. That's how quickly it can happen. That's how quickly it can happen. Your potential means absolutely nothing if you never push past it. You got to understand that. If your environment where you go to work every day to own your craft, right? The cage, the field, the locker room, the facility, the academy, dude, if your environment doesn't demand your best, it will quietly delete it. And that's just what it is, man. It's just what it is. You can disagree with me if you want. Come talk to me in 2 years when you're out of baseball, bro. Right? That's just what it is, man. Your environment has a huge impact on you more than you know. Here's how to not waste yours. Okay, so we're talking about these. The best players don't always make it, right? We have talent. We might be here right now. We need to run our race. We need to run our career. We need to focus in on what we need to do. Here's how to not waste your career. Okay. First and foremost, number one, you need to build boring, brutal habits, dude. If we want to outlast everybody else and we want to be the guys that make it, even though we don't have the most talent, we need to build those boring ass habits, dude, and we need to do it better than anybody else. I'm talking about recovery first. The best ability is availability. You over here as a B- want to beat these nerds, A pluses in the SEC, dude. Gotta recover. Gotta recover. You gotta be available. You gotta be healthy. You gotta be on the field, dude. First and foremost, stop worrying about batting average. Stop worrying about stats. Get on the field. Be healthy. Number two, dude, nutrition. All year. So build these boring, brutal habits, dude. Recovery, nutrition, all year. Gain and maintain. Don't evaporate. Don't do what I did and lose 20 pounds in one season and then like be frail and skinny and think people are like, dude, are you sick? What? I just went through a AA season and I stole 50 bags, bro. Asking me if I'm sick? Don't do that, right? Scheduling, dude. If you want to build boring and brutal habits, bro, you got to be on top of your schedule. Talking about your classes. I'm talking about your lift. I'm talking about your skill work, individual stuff, your individual skill work, right? All on the calendar. It's not just vibes. You're not just going to it here and there. Dude, if I feel, dude, it's on the calendar. It's brutal. You got to stick to it. If you want to separate and not waste your career, not waste your talent, dude, recover. Nutrition, huge. Schedule. Aside from that, dude, section number 2 here, how to not waste your career is journal and run. Feedback loops. I'm talking run those feedback loops. What is your journal? Dude, your journal is giving you data on what you struggled with, what you were good at, and what you're going to do tomorrow. Run feedback loops from that, dude. What does that mean? Ian, What does that mean? I have no idea what a feedback loop is. Dude, track what works. Track what doesn't, and then why. Stop waiting for your coach who sees you once, twice, maybe 4 or 5 times a week to tell you what you need. Dude, understand it first. Go to war with it. Get feedback loops from that, dude. Turn this, if you're going to be a 300 hitter, you need to fail 7 times out of 10. How about we turn that 7 out of 10 failures into data, not drama, not worst case scenario, but we get feedback from that stuff, dude. That's what that feedback loop does for you, okay? Section 3 here, dude. If we don't want to waste our career and our career and waste our talent, we need to seek those environments, dude, that like raise your ceiling. You need to be in those environments, dude. You need to challenge yourself. You need to play up. You need to play on better teams, dude. You need to hit against faster pitching machines, brother. You need to do live ABs against tougher arms, dudes that can absolutely carve you up, right? Put yourself in rooms that make you uncomfortable, dude. How else are you going to grow, bro? What? Put yourself in those rooms, in those situations that make you uncomfortable, make you have to grow, and then adapt, dude. That's what it's all about. If you don't want to waste your career and waste your talent, you need to build boring habits. They got to be brutal. You need to journal and you need to run those feedback loops. You need to benefit from that information, dude. You need to seek environments that raise your ceiling. And lastly, dude, you need to compete against yourself daily. Dude, it's going to be you versus you, okay? Your alarm goes off, snooze. Lost. You already lost, bro. Day hasn't even started yet and you lost, my guy. When the alarm goes off in the morning, dude, do you get up or do you hit snooze? Are you on the first or on the second bus to the field? Are you on the early or late bus? Are you in the extra group, dude, or are you home early? You're competing against yourself, man. And if you want to maximize and improve what you have, the best don't chase perfection, dude. They chase progress. That's what you need to do. You need to make sure you're doing it every single day. It's you versus you at the end of the day, man. Be a B- every single day. And add 1% when you can. Stop putting a ton of pressure on yourself and just be that B-, dude. That guy wins the long game. And that's what we want. We're playing the long game as baseball players, man. Here's the truth, dude. The best players don't always make it. The most committed ones do. Talent might open the door, brother, but consistency, accountability, and adaptability walk you through it. Stop worshiping potential, man. Start investing in habits because the game doesn't care who you were at 13 or 14 years old, brother. It cares who you are every day now. Appreciate you being here. Keep grinding.